Check this out. You and your buddies have just seen the latest action movie and you're excited. Now you've also seen all those fantasy TV shows with their incredible fighting scenes. You're familiar with Jet Li, Michael Jai White, Donnie Yen, Jackie Chan, and of course, Bruce Lee. You've been watching them for years and now you say, hey, I can do that. And why not? You're young, talented, flexible as all get out. You've won grand champion or first place in forms, or sparring in a number of tournaments. Your kicks are picture perfect. You can even hold that 6 o'clock position with either leg. You're probably one of the best in your dojang or dojo. In fact, your teacher usually relies on you to lead the demonstrations and exhibitions for your school. So you've made a decision. You want to go from tournaments to television. You want to be a stunt person and who knows, maybe from there be an action movie star. Now, what do? How do you make that happen? Every time I go to a tournament or a seminar or whatever, I always hear that question. What do? How do I get into television? How do I get into movies? Well, what I decided to do is I got together with a couple of my buddies and we've come up with a couple of things to help you get on that path. My buddies are Scott Rhodes, Ross Clay, and TJ Glenn. All right, before we get started, something I want to make clear, and something I want to make sure everybody understands. There is a difference between real techniques and believable techniques. Real techniques will get someone hurt. Television and movies uses believable techniques. Now, believable techniques are based on real techniques. And I did a whole thing on why you don't use real techniques, but suffice it to say, real techniques are not going to really work on camera the way you think they are. Plus, a lot of directors, even not so much the directors, the actor that you may be paired with may not have trained at all, so they won't be familiar with the real techniques. Bruce Lee didn't use real techniques. He took techniques from real techniques and made them believable. So get that out of your head right now. You are not going to do real techniques. We're going to do believable techniques. One of the things that you should do is take a staged combat class. Now, you usually find those classes at a local college or university, especially if they have a theater department. Those classes, though may seem unnecessary at first, are really going to help you. You will learn how to kick, punch, and other techniques in a way to keep you and your fellow performers safe. Minimize accidents. You will learn about selling the techniques, making the techniques believable to the audience. You'll make the audience believe that you are actually hit. You learn about reaction times, being in sync with your partner, the person that you're doing the scene with, moving at the same times, moving at the same speeds. The stage combat class may seem a little unfamiliar and unnecessary, but remember, you're about to enter into a world in which you're not really familiar with all their rules and regulations. Think of taking a stage combat class as if you're taking a completely new martial art. You need to have a variety of fighting styles and techniques. Remember, audience don't care if Captain America, James Bond, or Batman. They don't care if he takes Taekwondo or Kung Fu. They really don't. All they're interested in is in a good fight. And quiet as it's kept, most directors can't tell you the difference between Kung Fu, Aikido, Taekwondo, Kung Fu, Wushu, They can't tell you the difference, and they care even less. Scott Rhodes has said, you need to have a variety of fighting styles and techniques in your bag if you want to be a good stunt fighter. You should know everything from the Wild West ballroom brawl with its broken rhythms and so-called wild, sloppy techniques to the almost ballet-like precision of a Hong Kong fight scene. The more techniques and styles you have to offer, the more valuable you become to producers and fight coordinators. Take boxing classes so you know how to hold your hands differently than you would in like karate. You also learn how to maneuver your body around differently than you would if you were used to taking Tai Chi or Wushu, Kung Fu, or even Taekwondo. Maybe add some Wushu to your movements. Open up your technique so that an audience can see what you're doing, especially if you've been doing a lot more fighting and sparring than you have been doing forms. Gymnastics, grappling, tumbling, dancing, even ballroom dancing. All these type of classes will enhance your capabilities and increase your skills, and they will be able to make you look that much more better on screen. TJ and I both say it wouldn't hurt if you took some film or television classes so you can understand the industry. You should understand the logistics of a production set. For example, who and what is the second assistant director, and how do they relate to what you're doing? Just starting out, I recommend that you work with some student filmmakers or local filmmakers. It may not be the most professional set you've been on, but at least you get an understanding of what actually happens on a film or TV set. Yeah, some of the students may be annoying and so on, but you need to appreciate things like setup time, rehearsals, camera angles. Who and what is a director of photography? What are they trying to do? How does it relate to you? How do you execute a scene with the light in your eyes? Why should you talk to the DP about that? And you will have to get used to the fact that you may have to do the same thing, the same techniques, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 times. It may not be that you did anything wrong. They may need to get it from different angles and different setups. You need to understand the safety elements of walking a set, making sure there aren't any obstructions such as screws, pieces of glass, or whatever. If you're doing an exterior scene, make sure that the ground is dry. There are no slippery spots. Get a professional headshot. Don't take one from your cell phone camera, and don't just get one from a buddy of yours who just happened to be at your aunt's 40th wedding anniversary. Get a professional headshot. Go to a professional photographer, one who is used to working with actors. Regional theater groups and college theater programs are a great place to start to look for those kind of guys. Be prepared to travel. If you don't live in a major media market like New York or Los Angeles, Atlanta, Chicago, and so forth, you may need to consider moving there. But do your due diligence. Understand what's going on in that town before you just decide to up and move there. Visit the area first. Find out the cost of living, apartments, transportations, and so forth. Again, do your due diligence. Something else that you can do, especially at the beginning of your career, is to apprentice. You can apprentice with an established stunt person or join a legitimate stunt group. And I do want to emphasize the word legitimate, because make sure that you check their credentials, see what they've done, etc., and so forth. And once they've accepted you, and once you're in the group, more than likely they'll recommend or they'll have you go through some of the same things that we just discussed, taking a stage combat class, understanding how to take high falls and things like that. They may send you someplace, or they may even give the classes themselves. Because remember, being a stunt person is not just about knowing how to fight. You really need to expand your skill set. There's driving, high falls. Hey, whatever a writer can imagine, the director, through the stunt person, will try to make it appear real on screen. Okay, that's it for now, but believe me, there's a lot more. Oh, there is a whole lot more that I can tell you, more than I can cover in just one episode. But there's a couple of things I want to leave you with before we go. One thing is, there is no off season for doing this. You always have to maintain top mental and physical condition. That's going to be really, really important. There is no off season. TJ, Ross, Scott, and myself, we all agree on this. One of the most important things for you to do is this: leave your ego at the door. Check your ego, okay? You may be asked to be a loser, a thug, a bully, whatever, and you will get your butt whipped on screen. That's your job. Your job is to make the actor, your job is to make the star look good. That's your main job. To make it look like the actor is some incredible person that was able to rise up and beat you, and make it look believable, make it look real. That's your job. You are not the star. Again, in reality, you may be the baddest thing to ever set foot on the Dojang floor. You may have so many grand champion trophies that they have their own room in your house. It's not important. What is important and what matters is the scene that you're doing. What matters is the work that you're doing now. And what people will care about is that you are reliable, dependable, and friendly. Being friendly and humble is really important. Networking is a great way to get known and get more work. And if you have that rep of being a good person, dependable and so on, you'll get calls. So, take the kick, take the punch, be the bad guy, be the bully. Whatever the director calls for you to do it. Whatever the stunt coordinator needs you to do it. And who knows, you could end up being the next Donnie Yen, Michael Jai White, Jackie Chan. One never knows. That's it for now. Oh, before I go, I do want to say thank you to my buddies Scott Rhodes, Ross Clay, and TJ Glenn. And when you hear the second AD tell you that the director wants to pull the shot at 0800 hours, so call time is 0600 hours, you should be on set by 0530 hours. All right, that's it for now. Till next time.